Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. It's Sam here from Blackburn 40k. I've just done a podcast with Reese and Ollie and had a really good time doing it. And I thought I'd like to talk a bit more about 40k today, so I thought I'd do a little video. Thinking this video is going to go maybe 20 minutes, if I can think of stuff to talk to for that long. And I'm going to try and do a few more. And I already come up with a fun little name for the series. I'm going to call it Time to Jam with Sam. So if I end up doing any more, I'm going to get that nice and clear in there at the start. Just a little fun line to throw out there, just have a bit of fun with it. So today, mainly the video today's main point of the video is to talk about how I got interested in 40k and where it's come from, and probably talk about my Space Wolves army now and how I build it and what I like in the book in general. So how I started in 40k was, I remember getting was with orcs, and I still have the orc army now, just it's not all painted up and a lot of them are broken because I've not put the love into it that I need to, because I'm lazy like that, and I impulse bought my Space Wolves army and just got hooked on them. So I don't play as much orcs as I used to, but at the start I were an orcs player. This were in 7th, and I were doing pretty alright with my orcs. I used to take 4 battle wagons and a big mech with a custom shield behind them, and you could take the fracker contingent thing where your big mech got an extra custom force field that were a 4 up instead of a 5 up. So the way battle wagons used to work before was they used to have 14 frontal armour, so I used to sandwich them all together, fill them all up with boys, put a big mech on a bike behind them, and just drive them up front, like just ram them straight down the enemy's throat, because 100 boys jumping out untouched is really hard to deal with, and sometimes I'd have knobs in a battle wagon instead of boys, but it were really difficult, hard to take on, because smashing down 14 frontal was a pain back then, and it were hard to get at the sides because I put them all together. So yeah, so I was playing my orcs and I liked them. I really like combat, still like combat now. It's miles better now as combat than it was then. But basically I just wanted to be a bit different. I wanted to get some shooting in, and I wanted to be good at shooting. I didn't want to just throw Dakar in and go, right, just throw looters in the orcs. I wanted to get a new army and build that up and check that out. So I think mid 7th edition, started throwing eBay and just saw researching some armies, because I still wanted to do quite a bit of combat. So throwing eBay, found this Space Wolf army, looked into Space Wolves a bit, saw they had quite a few characters because they already had Bjorn and Herald and a Wolf Lord, so I thought I'll get that, bought it, got a fair few drop pods, got 2 Land Raiders, got my Stormfang, got my Wolfen, got my Thundercav, got Herald like I said, got a fair bit in the deal, come with the Codex and the Curse of the Wolfen book. Never used that, to be fair, just when I was using the Wolfen chart, and I didn't always use the Wolfen, because Cav were amazing in 7th, if you played 7th and you played against Thundercav, they were insane. You could throw storm shields on them all, toughness 5. You could throw Rune Priest in there for deny the witch rolls and all that, and then I'd put all my rest of my army and drop them down and just put completely Alpha Strike army. I liked it. It were pretty sweet. And then obviously now into 8th, I mainly play Space Wolves because I like them a bit more. I like some of the characters I've read up on, because I don't read a lot of fluff myself. Never read any of the books, but I've read a bit about a few characters. Read about Bjorn because he's pretty cool. Read about Harold, just stuff like that. I've not really gone super deep like some people do, and they say it's really good. Ollie and Reese both got pretty deep into the lore and they like it. I myself don't. I just barely like painting. Don't like painting actually. I just like playing the game myself. It's purely what it's for. But everyone else, each their own. So I'll go over my Space Wolves list myself, what I take and what I don't take. Usually I'll do my HQs first. I do play Herald every now and again. He's really good. Toughness 5, I think he's 7 wounds. Obviously he's got his 3-up invul, which goes to a 2-up on shooting attacks, because of his Trollbane Cloak of the Frost Troll, which makes him really hard to take out at shooting at him. And his got decent toughness as well at 5, and he's got a lot of wounds. He's fast. He can come on from the board edge. Pretty. It's not really that expensive as well, to be honest. I think he's like 188, which isn't too bad for all that he can do. Like, gives Ed the re-rolls. I think he's got some other rules there. Really good character. I like Bjorn. Not Bjorn, Harold. Love Bjorn, but as much as I love Bjorn, I just can't seem to shoehorn him in every one of my armies, because Bjorn is quite an expensive HQ at nearly 300 points, depending on what you want to put on him, because obviously you could put twin las cannons on him, or the Hellfrost, or any other gun weapon, but Bjorn is like magic in combat. If you can get Bjorn in combat, he'll kill it. Like me and Oliver just had a game, and he let his Wraith Knight get too close to me. Bjorn charged in, smashed 18 wounds off him, like it were nothing, and my other Dreadnought with the Fenrisian axe and shield charged in and took it out, like in one turn of combat. But yeah, to be fair, getting into close combat with 2 Dreads designated for close combat is dangerous for anything, especially without an invul. But yeah, I like Bjorn. I like how you can have 1 command point just for having Bjorn in your army. I like his guns. I like he gives out the Wolf Lord rerolls of 1s to hit. He gets to reroll wounds because of True Claw. Really good model. Really solid unit. Problem is how many points he is. So I don't take him all the time because it's really difficult to get him in and up there unless you're throwing in him a Lucifer's drop pod or something. But I don't have one, so I don't take him in it. The other HQs I usually take is a Wolf Lord with a jetpack, because mobility key to winning games, and I throw Thunder Hammer on him and a Combi Melter, because he already has a 4-up invul, and I feel like you get more out of having a Melter than throwing a Storm Shield on him. So that's how I take my Wolf Lords. Sometimes I'll throw a Runic Blade on there, just because sometimes I'll get annoyed with how many 2s I roll, and I'll change it at the same points, so it doesn't really matter too much. It's just when I get annoyed by how many 2s I roll in one game, and it's just like, well, I'm taking a Runic Blade next time. The other HQ choice I take is a Wolf Priest, because in my list I take a lot of Wolf. I take 4 Wolfen, 5 actually, and I put Thunder Hammer Storm Shields on 4 of them. You take your Wolf Priest with your Wolfren, you re-roll all the failed hits, the 1s and 2s, because you can't really roll the 3s, because the 3s hit before modifiers, and you can't re-roll them. So yeah, that's what I do. I take a Wolf Priest, he's pretty cool. I used to take Ulrich in 7th, but Ulrich's pretty pants in this edition, because you can't put a jetpack on him, so he's normal marine speed, and he's quite costly compared to a normal Wolf Priest. And he doesn't really add much more. He's stubborn, so you get to take Ulrich's leadership, which could come in handy, because Wolfen are leadership 7, I think, off the top of my head. So they could come in handy, but Wolfen are pretty hard to kill. So you're not always going to, and you got They Shall Know No Fear, so leaderships aren't a massive thing to Space Marines, in my opinion. I could be wrong. Maybe when if I throw more Wolfen into a squad, then it'll be a bigger thing and I want him around. But at this point in time, even though his model's cool, he looks really good. And I've got one, and I was on about painting it up to look like that. Like, 'cause it's got black and gold, and really cool model. Got a cool cape. Paint that red, make it look really nice and snazzy. But yeah, I don't play him just because of that, even though I used to really like Ulrich. So they're the HQs I usually take. For troops, recently I've just been taking a big club of 12 Blood Claws with a Wolf Guard, because you need that in kit, because otherwise your Blood Claws are just going to charge everything, and you don't want to be trying to make 12 of these charges against some stuff, because it's just like free fire, and you're looking for double 6s. And what's the point? Yeah, maybe you'll make it, but no, I personally throw the Wolf Battle Guard in. Throw a Power Fist on him, and I throw a Power Fist on the captain that's in there, because you get 2 captain choices, but one of them doesn't plus leadership, the other one does. So I throw 2 Power Fists on them, just in case they bump into something nasty in combat, and you can chip from wounds away. That's what I do with troops. I did used to take got I did used to take Grey Hunters and try and kit them out. Like a 5. It's like difficult with Grey Hunters though, because you'd rather spend a load of points, and you spend just a few points. Because the way all the upgrades it can take, I'm assuming if you're a Spacewolf player, you already know. You can take a plasma pistol, you can take a melter gun, you can take a combi melter. Throw them in a drop pad really be dangerous to someone. And I think they call chain swords as well, so you can be pretty cool can Grey Hunters. So I have taken a few. I don't anymore because I've decided to switch up from when I first started, because I found it very difficult. I just couldn't justify paying 80 points to get a drop pod in my army for what your Grey Hunters can do. Because you can only take 10 Grey Hunters in there, so you probably put 2 5-man squads in there and try and kit them out how you want them. Like I've done it, it works sometimes, but your Grey Hunters become quite costly when you're putting melter guns on 2 guys and a plasma pistol on another guy. They start adding up, and there's just better things you can spend your points on, in my opinion. Like, each their own. Someone might love kitting out all the Grey Hunters and throwing the banner on them that lets them reroll 1s for charging. I think that's completely pointless myself. If that were on Blood Claws, I'd take that every day. On Grey Hunters, I think it's a bit meh, because Grey Hunters aren't as good in combat as Blood Claws are. And they just, yeah, Blood Claws, personally, in my opinion, are a bit superior to Grey Hunters, even though Grey Hunters are a really good second option. If you're not playing combat, then definitely take Grey Hunters instead, in my opinion. But I play combat because I like chopping people up. So yeah, my other, obviously, then I go into my elites. This is where I spend all my points, pretty much, because I want to. I take 2 Venerable Dreads, usually. But I think I've dropped 1 recently to put Long Fangs in. But Venerable Dreads, awesome, really good. In my last game, I took a Venerable Dread with the shield and axe, and that's just pretty cool, having a Dread with 3-up invul. And if it gets to you, it's hitting you on 2s. And wounding you on 3s. Depending on what you are. Because, you know, most of the nasty stuff it'll be on 3s that you're ramming into. And plus, if you've got a character, you can babysit that character all the way upfield. So that's what I did with Bjorn. I took him and Bjorn. Had him in front of Bjorn. And having 3-up invuls at las cannons and stuff. Like, brilliant. Yeah, so Venerable Dread's amazing. Everyone knows Dreads are amazing this edition compared to last edition. Wounds have always, like, all vehicles are better. Not just Dreads, all vehicles are better than what they were before. That's why everything costs more. But different argument there, because it annoys me when I play my orcs how much my vehicles cost compared to what they used to cost. But that's just me. So basically, how I do my elites, I'll take, obviously, the Dreads, because they're amazing. And then I take 2 sets of 5 Wolf Guard, throw combi plasma on them and jetpacks on them, so you can deep strike them in with the Wolf Lord that's got his jetpack, or Herald if you not scouting Herald on, hunting Herald on, or whatever he's called it. Basically, deep strike but not deep strike. So Herald will come on with them, or the Wolf Lord will come on with them, and they'll get to reroll the 1s to supercharge the weapons, and basically you can get 9-inch or 12-inch. I usually get 9-inch within tanks. I don't know why 9-inch. But you can get within really good range of them, rapid fire into them, and proper waste some important stuff your opponent's placed. Because for me, I have quite a small army, so I never really get to see when people are placing the good stuff. Like, when I play Reese, I won't get to see where he's going to put his hammerheads until I've placed everything, because he has a lot more units than me, so I can't hide my Dreads or my Flyer, because I take Flyers because Flyers are amazing. I can't hide them from his hammerheads or riptides or whatever he's putting down, and I can't make sure I've got line of sight on them and all this. So I'm pretty much in the open. I get first turn when it comes down to placing armies. So that's why I like having the plasma guys come in, because they're a unit that's they're 2 units untorched that can do a lot of damage to, like, most armies. Like, I can't think of many armies that'll have jetpacking plasma jump at them and be able to go, yeah, that's fine. Unless I roll dog shit when I'm doing it. But no, I'm pretty yeah, because you get to reroll ones for when you supercharge anyway. So the rerolling ones is like obviously you generate more hits, and that's 10 shots of plasma per unit. Because you're definitely getting rapid fire range of what you want to shoot at. Can do a lot of damage. They're just brilliant, in my personal opinion. You can kit them out a bit more than I kit them out. You can put storm shields on them if you want to. That's like 5 points a piece. For storm shields, it becomes quite expensive when you start doing that, because they're at 170 the way I take them. If you were to put storm shields on them, they'd be like 200 points per unit, and I think that's a bit too costly, in my opinion, for what I want them to do. I don't want them. I love them to stick around, but basically come on, get rid of what I don't want to be there for the next turn, and force my opponent to take them guys out. The other elite I use is my Wolfen. Love my Wolfen. They're amazing to Wolf in this edition. Really, really strong, really quick. Got 2 really good buffs for the Space Wolf army in their hunt, and I don't know what the other one's called off the top of my head. Obviously, they let you advance and charge. The Wolfen can advance and charge. The Wolfen can give other units additional attacks in combat. The Wolfen have basically, you can pick any of the best equipment you've got. The only downside is they can't shoot, but who cares? If you're putting guns on your Wolfen anyway, you're insane. Because they're there for running in with thunder hammers, in my opinion. The only reason I don't take 5 with thunder hammers is I can't, because one of them has to have frost claws. And basically, thunder hammer, storm shield, rock. I double that up with my wolf priest and re-roll into hits. As long as I don't roll a lot of freeze, I'm fine. And then your wolf priest, and then you're just smashing stuff, really, which is great. They get to deal out a lot of damage, cuts through most armors, cuts a lot of armor down to 6s. So yeah, Wolfen amazing. I think everyone knew that. My heavy support choices are long fangs. I don't look at anything else in heavy support, because I can't see why you would pick something else when you're Space Wolves in heavy support, because you have so many better options available outside of it. So I just take long fangs. I think they're the better version of they're the best version of the Devastator squad that's out there, because re-rolling ones to hit, obviously you have to declare on the one target that you get to re-rolls to 1, but all of a sudden you can take plasma cannons and not worry about losing half your squad when you supercharge. Or you can throw a lot of las cannons on there. Firing 5 las cannons, re-rolling 1s, as long as you don't get 2s, you're fine. And the amount of stuff out there that's -1 to hit, that extra re-roll of 1s can really help. You do some extra damage and cut down the enemy numbers. That's what I find. I've been debating throwing another Long Fang squad in there, just to like get that extra fire across the board. Maybe drop the dreads, throw in more Long Fangs. Not 100% sure, because I like dreads because they look cool, and they're pretty good. Obviously, great ballistic skill, because you're hitting on 2s because venerable. If you're not venerable, I don't know why you're not venerable, because it's cheap and easy to fit in. Yeah, so after that, Long Fang's plasma cannons are launchers, because they're amazing. Like las cannons, whatever you want to put on, really, they'll do you a job. You can even take a Terminator to try and soak up wounds. I haven't, because it's quite expensive when you start doing that, because it goes from like 150 to like 200 when you throw the extra guy in there, then you throw the Terminator guy in there. But basically, to soak up normal fire, why not? For a 2-up save, like someone shoots a las cannon at you, you've got your Terminator there soaking it up. Is what I'd do. That's what I think about doing. Not 100%. I haven't actually tried it though, because it's one of them weird situations where you spend a lot of points for one guy to have a 2-up save, when you're more than likely going to have your Long Fangs in cover anyway, because you don't want them moving up the board. You have really good range with Long Fangs, usually, unless you put heavy bolters on them or something. So yeah, usually you'll be able to hit whatever you want with them. After that, the only other thing I have is my Stormfang gunship. I think it's Stormfang or Stormwolf, I always get the names confused. It's the one that can transport 16 guys, because I like putting my Wolfen in there to transport them up the field a lot quicker. So if I get first turn, I can just go, right, launch my Wolfen straight into you. First, like, straight up there, instead of having to slug them up there. Even though Wolfen are pretty fast, they can get where they want to be. I feel like it's just helpful to give them that transport capacity. Like, why not? That's what I do. I throw my Wolf Priest in there as well. So that's basically what my army usually looks like. Wolfen, Bloodclaws, Long Fangs, Stormwolf, Dreads. Like, basically I build a spine and then build off that. Recently I've been putting the Land Raider Crusader in to ship my Bloodclaws up the field. Not working, because that is the first thing to go every game I've had so far. I think that's been knocked down to like 1 or 2 wounds like every game, or it's been blown up first turn every turn. Ever since I put it in, it's not had 1 turn of moving and shooting at stuff, which kind of sucks. But at the same time, if you want to pump a load of shots at a Land Raider, I think you are going to do, because it's really hard to hide a Land Raider anywhere. Very visible, very big, very easy to shoot at, and a complete points magnet at like 308 for a Land Raider, when I could have a flyer for 270, which is cheaper. I think the flyer is better in a lot of ways myself. Moves faster, better weapons, and harder to hit, because obviously hard to hit. But I don't have 2 flyers, I only have 1, so I'm using Land Raider. And it's painted, so that makes my army look a bit better. Because if you watch the videos, I have a lot of unpainted models, which I need to start working on. And it's payday soon, so I have to buy some new paints and just like spray them all up. That's the plan at any rate. So that's pretty much usually what my army looks like. I do experiment around a little bit, because I've got, obviously I have other models available to me that I can use. I throw in Nenji every now and again. He's really good as Nenji, but the problem is the psychic powers that the wolves have aren't super amazing. There's one pretty good one where it makes a unit shoot at -1 ballistic skill, which is really good, but it's like at 18 inch, and I think the Dark Angels have one at 24. It's the same power as the Dark Angels have, but less range, which kind of sucks, but whatever. The cover one is okay. It gives you a bubble of cover around the cycle that's cast it, which would be Nenji, because I can't see why you wouldn't take Nenji, because he gets to cast 2 powers a turn, and he knows all the powers, and he gets 2 denies, and he can re-roll denies, and he gets +1 to his powers. He's a really, really strong psyker. I always throw him in Terminator army whenever I play him, because you get a 4-up and a 4-up invul and a 2-up save, and you get that extra wound. And people are going to want to take Nenji out when they see him on the field, because it can, when he wants a power to go off, it can go off, and then when he wants you to deny, if you're too close to him, it can stop you. Like, ride out, just completely shut down a psychic phase, which I had against Oliver. Well, I didn't shut his psychic phase down, I stopped all the powers that I wanted to, like, he was playing Eldor, so I picked the powers that I knew I didn't want to go off, waited for him to cast them, and Nenji denied them, which is good, because Nenji's a really good psychic. That's what Nenji's mainly there for, to deny powers, if you ask me. I don't think he brings enough using his own psychic powers, because one of them's like a really weird smite, where it's only really good on stuff with bad movement. So you're casting it on Terminators or Orcs or something like that with low movement. If you're coming against Nids or anything with half decent movement, just ignore it. You're not going to do many wounds to them. You're better off just doing normal smite, because you need to roll higher than a 7 with 2 dice to do at least 1 wound. And saying average your roll is 7 anyway on some units, you're just not going to do much. So that's why Nenji floats in and out my lists, because if I know, I don't really play a lot of psychers, because I only play Oliver, who uses psychic, so he's not always in my list, because there's not, I did play him a lot when I first started playing, and I enjoyed using his psychic powers and stuff. But for the amount of points he is, I think there's better stuff I can get in and use. When I'm playing a bit of a fluffy kind of game, he's in because he's good, and fluff wise, you can scale your army down. That's what I try and do. I try and make it a lot less in your face, aggressive and powerful. When I'm playing fluffy games, I'll start throwing in Thunderwolf Cav, because it's weird. You look at Thunderwolf Cav and all the stats say, yeah, they'll be good, but they're not for some reason. Maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm doing something wrong, and someone can tell me in the comments why Thunderwolf Cav are amazing and this is how I should play them. But from what I think it's just the massive hit they've taken from the last edition that makes them weird to me now. I'll look at them and go, oh, they're nowhere near as good as they used to be. So it's like, well, I don't want them. And they're really expensive. For like 3 dudes, you're paying a lot of points. And you can't take a Storm Shield and a Chainsword for some reason. I don't know why. So then the points add up even more. Because a Storm Shield's 15 points. I like splashing Storm Shields around. Anything I can take that usually can have a Storm Shield, I'll throw it on there because I like free up invulns. Who doesn't? I like splashing them free up invulns all over my army. It frustrates people you're playing against. It's like, oh, this is -4 it's a -4 melter. Don't matter. I've got a Storm Shield. I'm going to ignore that. And I'm going to roll my free up and tank it. So yeah, that's the main idea of what I like doing. Gone off a bit of a tangent, forgot where I were. Yeah, I was talking about... So yeah, back on track now. We're talking about Cav, and yeah, they've become pretty expensive when you start having to put special weapons on them, and you want the shield. I always want the shield, so that means I always have to take a special weapon, which is... I know it's only like extra 4 points, because I think you can take a power sword for the cheapest one, but that's an extra 4 points on all 3 of them. So that's extra 12, and then 12 points is just trying to fit the 12 points in, and then you've got your 15 points for each Storm Shield. It's all adds up. Unless your idea is to tank them on one guy, then fair enough, go ahead, try to do that. But I think when that one guy dies and everything, and then the las cannons just start smacking into you, they're dead. Even though they are decent toughness at 5, they have a fair few attacks, because the wolves get to attack, which I love. The wolves get these extra 3 attacks because you charge in, and I think every Thunderwolf guy has 2 attacks, and obviously the Wolf Guard Battle Leader guy has 3, and then you add in another 9 attacks from your wolves, which are decent as well at 5 -1. You can really cut into some people. So I do. What the shame is, I do really like the Thunderwolves. They look cool. They've got decent stats. I think the one thing that lets them down is their speed. Even though 10 is quite fast compared to other stuff, you look at what other guys can do where they can advance, charge. I think it's that lets them down, really. Not being able to charge in advance. I think if they could do that, they wouldn't be as bad as they are. Like, obviously, giving them another special rule is going to make them better. But in my opinion, I feel like they need some kind of buff to start getting them in there and making them somewhere where they used to be. In my opinion, I feel like I could definitely be wrong about them, but I hope they're amazing, and I've just not figured out how to play them, so I can start playing them again. The last thing I'm going to talk about is the Lone Wolf, because I've started playing a few of them. Threw a Lone Wolf in my army against Oliver. I don't think that battle report's up yet, but it might be when this video comes out. At the time of me recording this, it isn't out. So yeah, I threw 2 Lone Wolves in for the first times. I felt like I've definitely missed a trick not playing them earlier. They're really, really smart. Throw them on Terminator armor, throw Storm Shield on there, throw Thunder Amber on there. You've just got a 4 wound model drop in your face with a 3 up invul, 2 up armor. 3 attacks, and 4 wounds. You have to kill it. Otherwise, it's going to start tying up tanks or stealing objectives or whatever, or just charging in and tying up a squad that you needed to do something for a turn. And the best part is, on a 4-up, it doesn't die. It just stays. So they're really cool, and I definitely missed a trick not playing them earlier. I was hoping you could put jetpacks on them instead of putting them in power armor and make them a bit cheaper and a bit faster. But I feel like they can't, so I put them in Terminator armor because it's worth that extra wound. And that better save just for them points when you're trying to get, like, if it's not got that wound and it's not got them points, I think it's like a free wound model, and a free wound with a free up. Is there a point putting a storm shield on it? I feel like at 4 wounds and a 2 up, you're thinking, that's survivable. I'll throw my storm shield on there, because it's like, I find this is weird when I'm taking saves. It's like you'll shoot normal shots at my Marines, and they'll have a normal 3-up armor, and I'll lose a lot. I'll just lose them. Then you shoot minus to hit shot, minus 2s or 3s at my Thundercav, or anything with Storm Shield. All of a sudden, you're rolling 3-ups for days. Like there's no problem with rolling 3-ups all of a sudden. This just shouldn't be, to be honest. But I've done some dirty tanking with my Wolfen that way, and I love it because it's amazing. Just someone passes you like 12 dice, and then you tank 10 of them, and then 2 of them go through, and then you pass them on your your feel no pain they have, and it's like, right, you've done 1 wound. It's amazing. So yeah, that's basically all my thoughts on what I play and what I've had a look at in Space Wolves. It's not like a super detailed thing, because obviously Space Wolves have been out, like everything's been out for quite a while now. We just started the channel, so I thought I'd throw my ideas down of what I actually do want to talk about at this moment, because like I said, after I did the podcast, I wanted to talk about my army a bit more in detail. So I thought I'd just smash this video out, see if people like them, and if they do, we'll have some more time to jam with Sam series. But if they don't, this might just do 1 or 2 every now and again, just for a bit of fun when I feel like it. That's probably what it's going to be. I can't see them taking off, because I've just like got on massive rambles about what I do and don't like. And I don't even think I went what I don't like, apart from yeah, the only things I wouldn't take is the non-Space Wolf things, like the things that aren't universally just for Space Wolves. I don't see the point of taking a Predator or a Whirlwind or Razorbacks and stuff like that for a Space Wolf army. Maybe Razorbacks can fit in, and Rhinos just for transports. But a Predator, I just feel like you can just throw in more long fangs for the same points, and you get a reroll 1. And it's not as big as a target, because you can throw your long fangs in cover and save yourself some points and whatnot, and get more shots, generally, with whatever you want to take on them. So anyway, that's probably going to be the end of the video. Went for half an hour, coming to a bit of an abrupt end, because I've not really got a point to finish on. But if you have watched it, thank you for watching. Like and subscribe. Post comments in the comment section. I am going to be quite active on on the videos. So if you do post a comment on about a question or a topic you want us to talk about in another video, I'll definitely talk about it. So thanks for watching, guys, and see you later.